Hi, Camilo.
Hi, Lee. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Camilo, I know that you've been down to the border with Witness at the Border any number of times. You've lived on the border, both sides of the border, I'm pretty sure. And yet you keep going back. So I want to know personally, what keeps bringing you back?
I think there's just so many layers to this. Partly, it's sort of the oath that I took, when I joined the bar, when I became a lawyer, and it's all about sort of the pursuit of justice as the heart of what being a lawyer, an advocate, a human rights defender is about. I've done that work in the U.S. and beyond, in Mexico, as you mentioned, and elsewhere in Latin America. And basically wherever U.S. policy has affected and impacted people's rights adversely, and tried to, be part of that documentation and that solidarity. I think basically the work at the border is about solidarity in that sense. For those of us who are not geographically from the border, but might be experientially from the border because of our family's history or ties. That's true in my case. I'm the child of immigrants who came to New York from Colombia. I was raised in an immigrant household. And then much of my legal work has been, I sort of gravitated in that direction in defense of immigrant rights. I've never been an immigration law expert. That's not my expertise, but it's been through the prism of human rights. And immigrants as disproportionately victims of human rights violations. And then I had to do that work in Mexico as well, as Mexico became increasingly active, ultimately in helping enforce and implement U.S. policy on Mexican soil. So there's a sort of rebound effect, let's say. There's a resonance to what happens at the border beyond. But it has to do with our families, our values. My children have both Mexican citizenship and U.S. citizenship. Our family is a transnational family. So that of course weighs heavily. And again, my own roots in Colombia specifically. My parents were displaced from Colombia because of the war there, back in the 1940s. So, it was at a moment, of course, throughout the world where people were being displaced. That's what produced the UN Refugee Convention that the US is a party to, and that basically established, recognized the right to seek asylum as a fundamental human right everywhere in the world. One thing we say is the human rights have no borders. And so defending human rights at the borders is especially crucial.
Thank you, Camilo.
Thank you, Lee.